Hello again everybody, my name is Christian and welcome back to another tutorial. Today I'm going to be showing you how to create an iron farm. But first things first, let's go to the loot chamber of this iron farm. Let's just break it and then place another one here just so that we can see how much loot we get. I won't pause the video nor will I edit it so that you can see how much loot you get depending on when we start placing the barrel there to the end of the video when we're going to look at the loot, just so that you can have a rough idea on how much you can get from this module itself. Now, this is not the this is my own design, but the concept I got so I can arrive at this design was based on Gnembon's video. I'm gonna leave a link down in the description below. So let's take this one step at a time. In Gnembon's video, from what I can summarize, you need to have like three base concepts that you must satisfy for a proper working iron farm. One would be the villager scare or the distress a villager has. Excessive amounts of stress means extra lag at the same time they won't be able to work or sleep. Next would be the distance between golems and villagers. So if the villager and the golems are within 16 blocks of one another, another golem will not spawn. So you have to take note of that. Next would be uh, the spawning platforms. The spawning platforms based on Linbon's video will be you have to make sure that you have more platforms. More platforms means more chances of them spawning. But more platforms at the same time, the older concepts means that there are less chances. There are more chances of it staying within the detection zone as opposed to leaving the detection zone. So yeah, the longer they are here, the less amount of golems you get. So you have to make sure you have to balance it out. So you have to balance before you have to balance the number of platforms you have versus the versus the how quick they are to leave the water streams or the drop zones. So to mitigate that, I created these three row chambers here with a one block fall. Now how this works is I'm using these waterlogged stairs. They prevent water from leaking out the other side, but at the same time they allow water from pushing forward in the front. So yeah, it's really efficient. Next thing we're gonna talk about how to prevent golems from spawning and everything else. They can't spawn on redstone. At the same time, they can't spawn on these leaves or slabs or strings. So if you want to prevent them from spawning anywhere, you have to make sure that you string it up, you leaf it up, you slab it up, as long as or you redstone it up, just so that you can ensure that they're not gonna fall down. They're not gonna spawn there. Next thing to note is I'm actually using two zombies here. You can just use one, but for me, I think it's actually they scare a lot faster when using two. But the difference is just very minute, so you don't necessarily need it. Also, you can see that there's like varying amounts of FPS here whenever the villager gets scared. Because if you look at Nimbon's video, when a villager gets scared, it actually creates lots of lag. So you don't necessarily need to scare a villager more than you have to. The proper amount of time you need to scare a villager is probably like 5 seconds based on Nimbon's video. Any more than 5 seconds is a little bit excessive, especially since villagers cannot sleep, cannot work when they are scared. So you have to take note of that. Next thing you should know is to get them to be scared, you have to look at the eye level. If they're on the proper eye level, they're gonna get scared easily. At the same time, if you put a block here, they won't be able to see the sleeping villagers, and if they can't see the sleeping villagers, they cannot scare them. They cannot wake them up from their beds. So that's why I placed a wall here, or I should say you can just use a fence. The main reason is it may look like it, but it's kind of preventing them from escaping. At the same time, I'm also adding string here just so that an extra measure in case golems spawn here. I don't think they spawn here, but that's just to be safe. Next, instead of using normal blocks here. I'm using walls here to enclose the zombies. This is so that there's going to be an offset. When there's an offset, it makes it easier for the villagers to get scared. Actually compared it a while ago with an offsetted one and a not offsetted one. The offsetted one awakes the villagers a lot more easily. Next, regarding the scare time, I'm using 16 blocks here. This is an ethos block, and I'm using these I don't know what they call it, but Mumbo. I got this from Mumbo. It just spits out the block and then gets it back. That's how it works. That's how it works. So yeah, ethos block. This kind of thing that I got from Mumbo, and then that's basically how it creates a chamber. Uh, the the um the call chamber or something. Next, let's talk about distance. I actually tried this before ours. If you try to layer it up, like say you create another villager layer. By villager layer, I'm talking about the 12 villagers in one layer. If you try to create more of them on top of one another, you especially like make it 16 blocks above one another, the efficiency rises only by a little bit. The reason for that is when a golem spawns in the higher layers, they will not they will enter the detection zone of the villagers in the lower layers, and then when they enter the detection zone, the villagers will no longer spawn on their golem. You can see well that just spawned three golems at the same time. On a good day, you can actually see six, but on a nice day, you can actually on these kinds of days you sometimes get three or two. But this is yeah, it's just that. In any case, you can't you can't layer this vertically. No matter how many layers you add, you won't the efficiency will not increase that much. So it's not worth it. You'll get more drops if you just created 16 blocks away from each other horizontally as opposed to creating them vertically, because when a zombie falls down from the sky and then enters the lower chambers detection zones, you can prevent them spawning zombies. I already told you this. Yeah, so yeah, vertically bad, horizontally good. And that's pretty much it for the entire video. The Yeah, that's it for the entire video. The entire concept on how to spawn iron golems is basically more tackled on Gnembon video. Just take a look at it if you want to understand more. And without further ado, let's go check on how much loot we get. So roughly, roughly from the time we started, we got 2 stacks already. You can get more, so depending on how many modules or how many of these you make. Let's say you make 4, you can probably get like from this amount of time, you can probably get about 8 stacks. It's fairly good. It's fairly good. Also, I would advise not using any lava here because in 1.16 they're gonna like try to swim on the lava. If you're gonna use lava, you have to make sure you have to properly count the placement of the lava, because if you place them within the detection zone, they're gonna swim on the lava and they're gonna stay in the detection zone and you can't spawn more golems. So yeah, that's the thing you have to take note of. Now, I'm gonna leave a world download for the entire video. It's gonna be, I mean, not the entire video. I'm gonna leave a world download for this world that we're using for this kind of thing in my Patreon. So if you want to get more contents regarding the world downloads, I suggest becoming a Patreon member. And if you like this video and you want to support me in any way, you can support me down on PayPal, or you can just support me by leaving a like and subscribing so that you can see more future content. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!